So we are talking about thin layer chromatography, also known as TLC. And it can be used to identify unknown amino acids. We've seen before in other areas of chemistry when we've studied it, the use of chromatography in order to identify unknown compounds by comparing them to a reference compound, and we can do that here with thin layer chromatography. So I'll just steal this image out of my textbook. Should look familiar. You will have seen a bunch of chromatography by now. I will just highlight the most important parts of it. So, pencil line at the bottom to show the starting point. We use a pencil line because it is not soluble in the solvent and it won't move up the page with the rest of the material. Dip bottom of plate below pencil line in the solvent. As the solvent spreads up the plate, the different amino acids will move with it, but at different rates. When the solvent has nearly reached the top, we remove it and mark the solvent front with another pencil line, as shown in the diagram. And at this point, we have to do something interesting that we haven't done when we've studied other types of chromatography, because amino acids are colourless. I'll write that in capitals. Amino acids are colourless, and we need to be able to see the spots. So there's a few things we can do to do this. One thing is use ninhydrin solution, which turns the spots purple. I'll colour that purple just for fun. Alternatively, there's something else clever that we can do, which is use a special plate with fluorescent dye. Use a plate with fluorescent dye, which glows in UV light. So, one thing to pay attention to here, the UV light is not making the amino acid glow, it's making the rest of the plate glow, and the amino acid position will look darker, right? So darker spots show the position of the amino acids. That would be a common error for students to make in the exam, because often when we use fluorescent light, we're looking for something that glows up, but here it is the opposite. And we can just draw around the position of the amino acid to see where they are. And then, as with other chromatography experiments that we've done in the past, we can measure an RF value. And the RF is distance travelled by amino acid divided by distance travelled by solvent front. And in this way, we can find an RF value which gives us a piece of information that is characteristic of that amino acid. And you can go and look it up in a reference book and find the amino acids that have that RF value. Maybe there will only be one, in which case you found your amino acid. Maybe you'll need to combine this with some other information, NMR spectroscopy or infrared spectroscopy or any of the other tests that we know about. And hopefully at that point you will be able to identify your amino acid.